Clippity clip. What? Nippon Imperial Army. Sergeant, yes and no, sir. Prepare to stand down in Supreme Court, sir. Yeah, he's... Oh, I thought you were saying I'm gonna call it as in you were calling it a night and you were leaving. You're still here. You're saying I'm gonna call it as in I know who it is. I see now. Do any of you know the extraordinarily low wage... Oh, here comes the sob story. Wow, I don't have any money. The low wages the Nippon Imperial Army pays to those it expects to keep our country safe. You want me on this wall. You need me on this wall. I understand that the temporary increase in taxation owing to the recently ended conflict remains in place. I've heard it's hard for lower-ranking soldiers to make a living, yes. All I want is to put a hot meal on the table for my son. That's why you were stealing things at the restaurant, and also why you were eating like $50 steaks at a restaurant. The place is heaving with money. Every 3 days I'd go there and do reconnaissance for a target. I'd enjoy chomping my way through a good steak at the same time. Sounds like he doesn't bother with a knife and fork. Or should I say, ever? He doesn't bother with a knife and fork. He just bites the steak. Which is worryingly believable. And your target that day was the old man and his koban. Yes, sir. He was an easy mark. I slipped the coin into my pocket without any trouble at all. A veritable phantom thief you are. Stealing hearts from Persona. I was all set to leave the steak I was halfway through devouring when it happened. Yes, when the professor was shot. I knew that if the police conducted a search and found the coin in my pocket, I'd be finished. I do too. So I hid the incriminated evidence as fast as I could, on the double. Slipped it under the steak, hoping I'd be able to rendezvous with it again at a later date. A lot of dots. That's even more dots. This is ridiculous. Perhaps you could carry on with this absurd prattling in your own time. Well, Miss Brett? Of course, dear lady, of course. How rude of us. I'm quite sure there's no need to detain you any longer at all. May the esteemed gentlewoman please be excused, Your Excellency. Indeed. The theft of the koban was clearly perpetrated by this baby-saddled sergeant. It would certainly appear to be unrelated to Dr. Wilson's murder. Of course it is. Hiding a coin under a lump of meat, the sheer nonsense of an idea astounds me. Nonsense, is it? Well, oof. TBH. And as for picking up your steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork, it's beyond nonsense. Pure madness. Very well. Now that all questions concerning this witness's testimony have been answered, I see no further justification for detaining her. Miss Brett, you are free to leave. Thank you, Your Excellency. Good luck, everyone. Goodbye. And good day. Wait a minute. They say good day in Australia. She's not British at all. Ryunosuke, what's the matter with you? This is no time for daydreaming. Oh, no, it's just something about... No, it's not that. It can't be that she's Australian. Something about Miss Brett's parting words there got me thinking. I can't quite work out what exactly, but something she said jarred with me. Like she was from down under. Like I was going to have to do an Australian accent instead of an English one. I feel like there was a contradiction in there somewhere. Something didn't quite add up. If that's the case, don't just stand there thinking. Make your voice heard. Sorry? You can think later, but if you don't call out now, it'll be too late. The trial will be over.
Hold it!
Wait, Miss Brett. What is it now? I'm afraid, just one last time, there's something I'd like to ask you. I'd like you to explain the contradiction in your parting words from just a few moments ago. What are you talking about? Are you simple? What contradiction?
Attention!
Oh my god! It's actually. Well, I'm gonna wait forever to come back. It's actually going to be that she said you should cut up steak instead of just eat. That's actually what it is. It's actually that we're going to prove that she's guilty because there are bites taken out of the steak. Oh, that's great. Well, if he is going to make a steak, that could take hours. I don't know how to cook. What new student nonsense is this? What was that voice? What new student nonsense is this? Well, what parting words are you talking about, Ryunosuke? Heart in a coin under an humble mate. The sheer nonsense of such an idea astounds me. And as for picking up your steak and biting into it, without using a knife and fork. Yes, I'm right. What she said there exposed an undeniable contradiction. I'm going to need to see evidence, counsel. If Miss Brett's words truly are contradictory, where is the evidence to prove it? So which steak do they want? Does it matter? I mean, the picture of the steak, and the steak itself are the same. I guess it doesn't matter. Am I allowed to just present the steak? I'm gonna say yes.
Take that!
The steak that Miss Brett had been eating before the professor was killed. Yes, go on. More accurately, Your Excellency, the steak that was on the victim's table just before the professor was killed. And now you're just splitting hairs. Not true. Doesn't something about this steak strike you as very unnatural? I love it! I love it. This is my favorite Phoenix Wright case now. Unnatural? What on earth do you mean? It's extremely obvious. I'm talking about the shape of the edge where it's been eaten. I see you've noticed it too, Miss Brett. Noticed what exactly, Counsel? Just a few moments ago, Ms. Brett claimed no Englishman could even contemplate picking up a steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork. Of course she did. She's a refined English gentlewoman herself and does not use chopsticks. Then take a good look at this steak, in particular the edge where it's been eaten. As you can see, there are clearly defined barbaric teeth marks there. Oh. Oh. Ever, you did it. Ever, you cracked the case. This is the actual, the actual smoking gun is the shape in which the steak was eaten. It looks like Miss Brett has realized something. If the witness, as she claims, wouldn't contemplate eating anything without using a knife and fork, you did shoot. Ever said it yesterday when we weren't even on steaks. They just showed a picture of a steak and he just went off. There shouldn't be teeth marks in the steak at all. But what is your actual point? Perhaps the delightful Miss Brett was ravenous. Whatever you say, dear lady. As I said, I really must be leaving now. Afternoon tea with the Minister of Justice cannot possibly wait any longer. Of course. This will be all be over in the blink of an eye. Odd Garrett! I'm sorry. I apologize to all British people. When her swan finally came to life, I gave her a proper British accent, and now you have to hear it. I'm sorry. I've heard enough, you irritating little spectacled samurai relic. Oh, wait. Samurai. Of course, dear lady. What's the matter, Miss Brett? Have we ruffled your feathers? Clearly, the witness knows what this means. She's realized the catastrophic implications these teeth marks in the steak have for her. Dick Van Dyke famously did a very poor English accent in the movie Mary Poppins. Ryunosuke, do you know where you're going with this? Yes, I'm going to make a manga. Yes. Now at last, it's all come together. The mysterious teeth marks in a steak that had allegedly been eaten with cutlery. I mean, I have no skin in the Dick Van Dyke's English accent game. I've merely heard that people thought it was atrocious. He also did a good English accent as the he played two people in the movie. I've never seen Mary Poppins, as far as I know, now that I think about it. The reason why the bloodstain I know I saw somehow seems to have disappeared. And most importantly, the evidence that proves once and for all who shot Dr. Wilson on that day. I accept that these teeth marks in the steak are a little unnatural, as you put it, counsel. What exactly are you suggesting that tells us? Everything, Your Excellency. Everything? Yes. I believe that these barbaric teeth marks in the steak here amount to conclusive evidence in this case. Evidence that will prove beyond any doubt who shot Dr. Wilson. Conclusive evidence? How many times have I heard that today? You wouldn't know the meaning of the phrase typical Japanese empty threats? How can you be so sure? Oh, it's quite simple. If you really had such conclusive evidence, you would have presented it to the court long ago. Actually, the evidence I'm talking about hasn't been brought before the court yet. Hasn't been what? But just because it hasn't been shown yet doesn't mean that the evidence does not exist. You've lost me. I don't know what you're talking about. Or unless he's just talking about the other steak plate, which we should have introduced. Like, we should have immediately said, you got two steaks, right? We'll bring the other one out. This is absurd, and this trial has run this murder trial has run several hours already. And you say there's evidence yet to be brought forward? There can't be. I don't believe you have it. I don't, but there's someone who does have it. Someone in this very courtroom. And if that person is willing to submit the piece of evidence I'm referring to, it will solve every remaining mystery about this case. Very well. I have a feeling this will be my last request of the defense in this trial. Who possesses the conclusive evidence that will reveal the truth about this whole affair.
Take that!
I agree. Introduce all your evidence in advance before you go to court at all. The answer is obvious. It's Inspector Hosonaga. What? I have it? Yes. You think I've been withholding conclusive evidence? That's ridiculous. No, I'm not saying that. Everyone's attention has been focused on this stake with the teeth marks. Yes. Now, earlier this afternoon, Sergeant Nosa told the court the following. I'd enjoy chomping my way through a good steak, and as well as admitting to stealing Correctasan's coin, he told us that he slipped it under the steak. You watch it, Cadet. I'm a superior officer. Sergeant Nosa, could you please confirm something for me? Was the stake that you put the coin under, in fact, your own stake? Affirmative, of course. I might be a soldier in the Imperial Nippon Army, but still, I'm not brave enough to ask a foreign gentlelady if she'd mind me manhandling her meal to hide something in it. Okay, weird. In other words, the stake that the detective submitted as evidence earlier was in fact Sergeant Nosa's meal. But that makes no sense. That plate was taken from the victim's table. Yet the gentlewoman doesn't take bites out of her steak, nor did she have any opportunity to steal the coin. Of course I didn't steal it. To even suggest such a thing would be an affront to the entire British Empire. Well then, how do you explain this paradox? And do you have a paradox gun that you can shoot it with? Oh, 13-2. Exactly. Surely you're not going to suggest that the sergeant switch the two stakes over. That's time. You did switch the plates? Well, after it happened, I saw the civilian had been murdered right in front of my eyes like that. I panicked. As I said, I immediately lifted my stake and hid the coin underneath it. But then when the waiter announced he was an undercover policeman, I thought I'd had it. He decided to investigate my slab of meat. That'd be it. I'd be getting my marching orders. So when the cadet here was arrested and taken off to the kitchen, I seized my chance. With my military precision and timing, I switched my steak with the one on the foreign lady's table. What? You can't have. I never saw you do such a thing. It was called Operation Lightning Bolt. There was no time for strategic planning. Kaminari Saksen. Dai Kaminari Saksen. It was do or die, I tell you, so yes, I did what had to be done. He didn't want to be found out. Well, we found him out. We cornered him. However, fear not, Prosecutor Sam. What now? I swear on the brass buttons of my uniform, that is all I did, sir. All you did? That's plenty, Sergeant.
Yes!
Yes! So, if Sergeant Nosa switched the plates over, it means he took Miss Brett's steak and the plate it was on back to his own table. Yes, that follows. Inspector Hosonaga? Yes? Earlier in this trial, you told the court this. You said that you had not only taken Ms. Brett's steak after the incident, but also the sergeant's. That to preserve evidence, you had taken both. That's correct. With my military timing. Yeah, that just refers to using a 24-hour clock. Then please present it to the court now. The plate that was actually on the victim's table at the precise moment he was shot.
Shut up!
What can that possibly tell us now? I mean, the cold, slimy, tough off, mate. It can't have the slightest bearing on the case. No, you're not wriggling your way out of it this time, lady. I beg your pardon? Never in all my life. Surely you're not that forgetful. Surely you remember the reason why this steak pan promises to prove such a problem for you, no? You're the ones who decided it was a problem, not me. The reason the defense asked to see that plate was to confirm something the defendant remembers seeing. Thinks she remembers. I'm sure of what I saw, Ms. Brett. On the side of the plate that was on the table directly behind Dr. Wilson, there was a clear spattering of blood from the gunshot wound to the victim's chest. I believe the defendant's memory serves him well. And now we have the evidence to prove it. The plate you were eating from, Miss Brett. Let us not prolong this any further. Inspector, you will show the evidence to the court. Present the beef steak and plate that was originally on the victim's table at the time of the incident. Yes, sir. Sorry for keeping you. Here is the other steak and its plate. Please feel free to examine it. Do I have to? It's well obvious. The blood stain. It's clearly visible. Look. Yes. Now this makes everything clear. The blood you can see on the side of the plate shows that at the moment the victim was shot, he was facing the table with his back to me. In other words, it's impossible for Naruhodo-san to have shot the victim. It can't be. In fact, there's only one person who could possibly have shot Dr. Wilson from the front. Himself. This was a suicide. We only just figured it out. I'm sure everyone now... I'm sure everyone knows by now who that person is. Ugh. Oh. That's right. Ms. Giselle Brett. It's you! The swan died. Done by a Japanese? Me? By a Japanese schoolboy? No. The swan is not dead. It's having babies? So far, I would say I like this better than either of the other two Phoenix Wrights that we've streamed. Dual Destinies and Spirit of Justice were not bad, but they were nowhere near this. This is great. Please oh well, she's all right. She's back. She's regained her composure. No more swan voice. Okay. Please excuse my little outburst. I briefly lost my composure. Most unbecoming behavior for an English gentlewoman. Forgive me. Well, Miss Brett, I think it's time you told the court what actually happened that day. The truth this time. They're not even... They were ducklings. They were ugly ducklings. Swan babies are called ducklings. Everybody knows this. Gladly, Your Excellency. It was I who took the professor's life using curare. As you surmised, I chose that particular day for one very important reason. The professor had a dental appointment for the extraction of one of his teeth in the morning. So you planned to kill the professor, knowing that no trace of poison would be found in his water, because curare is unheard of here in Japan. Yes. Of course, I never intended to remain at the restaurant for as long as I did. I only needed to see the professor take one tiny sip of his water, and it would be all over. And it would all be over. I would place the steak I had ordered in front of him to make it appear as though he had been dining alone, and leave immediately. However, before any of that happened, there was an unexpected visitor at the professor's table. That would be me, I suppose. Yes, you. Who else? Such a trifling matter, but the fact that you decided to come over and greet the professor meant that I had lost my chance to slip away unnoticed. Was she not worried about the waiter? Oh, no, the waiter, I don't know, is paid off or something because the police department's corrupt. That was why he got a call from on high that was like, let her leave. She's not a suspect. In due course, the professor took a sip of water and was paralyzed. I made sure he was sitting in his chair such that he wouldn't fall. There was no going back at that point, so I concocted a plan on the spur of the moment. I had 2 guns with me, fortunately. A plan to pin Dr. Wilson's murder on this innocent man. I happened to know that the professor always carried a gun. I decided to use that fact to my advantage. I had the bottle of curare in my handbag, and my own pistol concealed under my swan. Under your swan? So I was right. It was a gun swan. Yes. And then I finished my coffee and got up to leave. That's when I noticed the professor's gun, which you had presumably placed on the floor. Placed where you were sure I would notice it. And everything went according to plan. You noticed the gun as I'd intended. And then, just as you bent down to pick it up, bang! That's when you shot the professor with your own gun. Even though at that point he was already dead. Naturally, the gunshot caused a commotion, at which point the waiter appeared. Obviously, I assumed Naruhodo-san was the culprit and apprehended him. I took him to the pantry that adjoins the kitchen and locked him inside. That's when I took the opportunity to turn the professor and his chair around. Because, of course, you needed to make it look like the defendant had shot Dr. Wilson from where he'd picked up the gun. So there you have it. That is the entirety of my misdemeanor. Not too familiar with Japanese court system, murder might be a felony. Might be. Your Excellency. Yes? I wonder. Might I speak with you in private later? I shall call on you. Thank you. Good day then, everyone. I hope you can forgive me, Naruhodo-san.
It would seem this trial has finally run its course. I presume the prosecution is in agreement?
This can't be. Takechiki Auchi does not lose. Not to the likes of this rookie student.
You'd better start getting used to tough opposition.
Arg, Ryunosuke Naruhodo!
Yes?
This insult to the Auchi family name will never be forgotten. retroactively. You've become conceited with age, Council, but the old have to stand aside and make way for the new. And there's nothing newer than a baby swan. It's the way of the world. May you never forget that. Oh! Is that what happens when you lose in Japan? You cut your hair off? Alright. 1,000 millennia may pass, yet the Ouchi clan will never measure up to the Naruhodo clan.
This trial in the Supreme Court of Japan will, I believe, go down in history as the start of a new chapter in our country's judicial system. Despite being summoned as the accused, you, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, presented an excellent case.
Thank you, Your Excellency.
The use of evidence and deduction to unravel the truth is a modern methodology. After all, it has only been a few short decades since our country opened its doors to the wider world. But the Western ideas of science are rapidly gaining acceptance here. I feel sure that science will soon bring new methods of investigation and new procedures of justice. A new future of law awaits, but what will it look like? I cannot begin to imagine. That is for the young to pursue. Kazuma Asuki.
Yes?
After this trial, you are set to embark on a journey of discovery to the illustrious British Empire. Learn all you can, absorb everything of the wider world that you are able to. And do not forget to fulfill the mission imposed upon you.
What? What mission? I understand, Your Excellency. What was that about? Why do you look so grave all of a sudden? Never mind.
As for you, Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
Oh, yes?
In you I sense, how can I put it, unusual potential. I very much look forward to seeing how you carry that onwards for the rest of the franchise.
Thank you, Your Excellency.
It is time to deliver the final verdict. I hereby find the defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, not guilty.
It's sakura petals. I thought they were embracing Western tradition. They should be using confetti.
This court is now adjourned.
They should be copying our legal system where we throw confetti in court. Alright, should only be like, I don't know, 10 minutes or so to wrap up. I am starving. I can't believe it. I can't believe what's happened. I made it. I defended myself and made it through that horrendous trial. Ryunosuke! You finally pulled it off. Congratulations. Well, I couldn't have done it without you. Thank you, Kazuma. No, it was a pleasure to watch you at work. So, you owe me an extra large sukiyaki from the place on Yume University Street. Don't forget. Good afternoon. All your hard work has certainly paid off. Oh no, it was her. Certainly paid off. Congratulations to both of you for proving Naruhodo-san's innocence. Ah, our trusty judicial assistant. You worked hard for that result too, you know. Oh no, I didn't do anything. Thank you so much. If we hadn't had that research report of Miss Brett's, I don't know how things would have turned out. Your kind words should really be for my father. I was simply doing as he asked. It was his idea for me to go to the university and investigate. Your father? Ah, yes, of course. Forgive me for intruding on court proceedings, Your Excellency. Susato Mikotoba, Judicial Assistant to the Defense. Speaking of Mikotoba... Ah, there you are. I believe correct. Congratulations are in order. Naruhodo, You did an excellent job. Thank you, Professor. Oh no, it is I who should be thanking you. After all, your efforts exposed the true criminal that took the life of my good friend. Good friend? Oh yes, you mentioned that before. It was you who actually invited Dr. Wilson to Yume University, wasn't it? Yes, that's right. Professor Mikotoba studied overseas himself. He went to study forensic medicine in Great Britain. Presumably that's when you met Dr. Wilson? Exactly. In those days, we worked together in the same hospital. Oh, you worked together? I've never heard you mention that before. Well, it was a long time ago now. Besides, it's your turn, Asogi. Great Britain is a magnificent country. It leads the world in science, medicine, engineering, culture, and of course, fashion. They wear swans, live swans on their heads. Pregnant swans. Did you know swans can be pregnant? Watch and learn. See what's happening in the world's largest melting pot. I will. I'll learn all that I can. I swear on this, the spirit of the Yasuki clan. You're not taking that sword to Great Britain, are you? Of course I am. A Japanese man's katana is his soul. This blade shows me where I need to go, and cuts down anything that's in my way. Yes, I've definitely seen how sharp it is already with my own eyes. That reminds me, what's happened to the woman? To Giselle Brett? To Giselle Brett, I mean. After all, she's guilty of murder. Ah, yes, her. It's not easy to tell you this, but... What do you mean? Surely she's going to face trial herself now. She's the true culprit, after all. She will be leaving Japan in the very near future for Shanghai. What? Shanghai? Giselle Brett will not appear in court again in this country. I'm certain of that. What? But why not? It's a matter of consular jurisdiction. Inspector Hosonaga. It was a hard-fought battle in the courtroom today. Very impressive to watch. I must congratulate... But what's all this about consular jurisdiction? I don't know anything. I'm only a lawyer. Actually, I'm not a lawyer. We cannot try this particular foreigner for her crimes here in Japan. What? We can't try her? But then, who? Who's going to bring her to justice? A British consular court will hear her case, somewhere far away where our voices can't be heard. But why a consular court? Professor, I simply don't understand. I thought consular courts were a thing of the past now that we've signed the friendship treaty. Yes, in normal circumstances, you're right. Then, so long as this is not a serious incident of a highly political nature to our respective governments, they can't invoke a consular court just like that? Oh, can't they? Yes, she's a student, but it doesn't justify our governments making secret agreements about her fate, does it? Something strange is going on. Dots. So Miss Brett can't be held accountable for her actions here in Japan. I'm afraid that for the young student, today's trial was nothing more than a game all along. There was never any danger of comeuppance for her. I don't believe it. The British government's Foreign Affairs Ministry has demanded that we hand over custody of Ms. Brett. They're obviously taking this case of a foreign student committing murder very seriously. They've even said they're going to have, like, a real court where you don't wear a swan on your head. Or bring babies in. But it's all going to change from now on. We can make it change. This is a time of great turmoil. This new era... This new era heralded by the start of the 20th century. One day, I have no doubt, that woman will receive the judgment she deserves. Yes, change is coming, and we're the ones driving it. Well, I think that's enough seriousness for now. This evening calls for a celebratory drink. But Professor... You're right. This is no time for gloomy faces. We should be celebrating Ryunosuke's not guilty verdict. Let's start having some fun. In that case, might I suggest the carnival? I don't know, I hear you guys have poisoned French water. Your French water supplier poisons it. As the head waiter, I should be delighted to provide you with ample food and drink. You're a detective, Hosonaga-san, aren't you? Also, kind of unhygienic restaurant, if you ask me. Let's not worry about the details for now. To La Carnival, will you accompany us, Professor? Of course. La Carnival's food is second to none. I shall go and attend the paperwork for Naruhodo-san's release. Oh yes, thank you. So Giselle Brett won't be tried here. I suppose that means I'll never know. I'll never find out why she killed Dr. Wilson. Until the last case. Kazuma. Yes, Ryunosuke? I just wanted to say thanks, again, that's all. You really saved my skin today. I didn't do a thing. You were the lawyer in there, weren't you? That defense was all your own work. Your skills made the difference, though. One day, I bet you'll be the best lawyer in the world. I'm not so sure about that. To be honest, something kept occurring to me over and over during that trial. I couldn't help thinking that maybe you're the one destined to become a great lawyer, not me. What? Come on, be serious. If I helped you today, it was only right at the very start of the trial, but you have a natural talent for it. Being a defense lawyer, I mean. Oh no, not me. All that tense verbal combat, I never want to go through that ever again. Maybe my great-grandson can. I just did what you told me to do, that's all, because I knew I could trust you. That's the point. Sorry? What do you mean, that's the point? Listen, Ryunosuke. Do you know what the most crucial weapon that any lawyer needs in order to win? Knowledge of the law. Took the words right out of my mouth. No, he said, wrongly. The ability to believe. To believe? To believe what? A defense lawyer has to fight for his clients. He has to believe in them at all times. Like you believed in me when I said I didn't do it. I'm human, just like you. I don't have some superhuman ability to know the truth. And I also don't have an AI around my neck that I can use to psychologically scan people's brains or whatever. But you have to make a choice about what to believe in and stick to it when you're defending someone. Sometimes in the courtroom you can really be backed into a corner. But being able to remain faithful to what you choose to believe in, even then, well, that's not something that anyone can do. It takes a special kind of person. A person who really, really, really should also have intimate knowledge of the law, I'm telling you. Believing in your client. Just look at today's trial. I'm a student lawyer with precious little real experience, but you never stopped believing in me. Well, you faced seemingly hopeless situations time and again, but you never stopped looking for the truth. And in the end, you found it through your own efforts. You and your knowledge. Thanks, Kazuma. There's something I want to ask you, actually, Ryunosuke. Well, it's a favor, really. Something very important. It sounds serious. What is... Ah, you're still here, are you? Oh, Inspector Hosonaga. I've arranged some rickshaws for us. Let's go. Thank you. We'll be right there. Let's pick up this conversation again later, while I'm still alive. I'll still be alive later. Don't you worry. Not gonna die. Not gonna be murdered. Not gonna have to defend an innocent person who was blamed for killing me. We should be celebrating right now. Your first court victory. And your study tour to Great Britain, don't forget. Ah, yes, that too. So my very first trial came to an end. Kazuma, Professor Mikotoba, Susato-san, who acted as my assistant, Inspector Hosonaga, who didn't really play much of a part, but still. It was because of the help and support of all these people that I managed to get through that trial. But more importantly, Kazuma hadn't yet managed to ask his favor of me. Little did I realize just how much it would change my life. When he was killed before he could ask me. Okay. Oh, now we already see what the next one's called. The Adventure of the Unbreakable Speckled Band. I figured it out. It actually can be broken. There we go. So we'll start on episode 3 next time. I already figured out episode 2. Thank you everyone for being here. I hope you enjoyed. I had a great time. This, again, Phoenix Wright 5 and 6, I was like, they're okay. It's good. It's nice to have more Phoenix Wright, but this is a bit of a step up, at least so far. I'm enjoying this a lot. So thanks for being here. Saturday I'll be streaming and hope to finish Loop Hero, and then we'll come back to this on Monday. So I hope to see you there. Oh, and thank you for being here, Ever. I'm glad you liked it. Terrible. I promise never to do that voice again.